All right,
Yes.
man. So I don't know if you guys had a chance to look at the file, and thank you, Celeste, for sending that out. I did populate it with a few clips or whatever the case may be that we're going to discuss today. So I want to jump into it, but before we do so, how are you guys doing today, man? Y'all doing all right?
Yes, we had a great Bible study over. Um, I thought I was going to be late, but I was on time, thank God.
Hey, hey. Well, we appreciate it. The Lord first. I'm not. Hey, it's all good. Did Sugar Shane show up? Was he there?
Yes, and so was Spaces
What?
talking about who was I yelling at now. I was like,
I hear that. Yeah, yeah. I'm with this brother right here. Yah first. I'm there with him. And then you can squeeze us in after the fact. I know you're busy, Crystal. Thank you for pulling up. All right, let's get after it, man. I don't know if you guys had a chance to see the thumbnail, see the title, but I want to start there, and I want to start there with a conversation around Stephen A. Smith. I'm actually going to go into a little more detail tomorrow on the live stream, but I wanted to get your thoughts, on this, and I want to play this clip here for you. But before I do so, I want to lead it in like this and just let's get the show started. Hit the like button for me if you haven't done so already, man. Super chat, super thanks are greatly appreciated as well. Appreciate everybody that supports the channel financially. I do appreciate you guys, man. But let's get into the sugar honey iced tea storm surrounding Stephen A. Smith. Now, I'm not sure if you guys had a chance to see the video, but Stephen A. Smith, man, he's been caught in the political crosshairs, taking heat from every direction. Michelle Beadle came at him today. Carrie Champion, she crossed the line. She came at him today. We talked about it a couple of weeks ago. The Boule snatched his behind back onto the Democratic plantation. Stephen A. Smith, man, I think he's at a point where he's finding himself isolated as somewhat of a political castaway of sorts, bending to the left so often that it's just become a reflex. And just when you think you can start to cheer the brother on,
Yep.
he bends the knee and veers left again, leaving people like myself and so many of you guys on this panel puzzled and frustrated. And the lesson here is you can't appease the left without buying into every agenda, without question, without critique. They demand lockstep loyalty, blood in, blood out type of allegiance. If you guys remember the movie from back in the day, I want to share this clip. I want to get you guys' thought. We're going to get into it. Hit the like button for me. Let's go.
That I say this. I'm not going to let y'all get away with that, with this stuff about men and black men with black women. First of all, to the brothers out there, can we ask a question? Can we disagree with a sister from time to time? We damn sure do it privately. What, we're forbidden to do it on camera?
I got to pause it right there. Just to the brothers. I know a couple of you guys jumped out, but can you disagree? Can you critique the sisters in this day and age? Can you do it quickly?
No.
Is that just an emphatic no? We'll keep it moving.
Right. We're going to say no.
What's up, fellas? You gonna leave me standing here, sitting here, and don't say anything? We can't disagree? Without being accused of disrespect or misogyny? For asking a question? Again, I apologize for the unintended effect, and I meant it.
That's the problem right there. He keeps apologizing. You give a critique and then you come back and apologize for it. We here on this channel, we was riding with Stephen A. until he bent the knee. We was riding with him.
I don't want that to get lost. But what I'm saying is, why are we having this problem? You're trying to make this about the black man and the black woman. Stop. My record speaks for itself. Google me. We ain't going for that. You think I don't know what the hell this is? I ask a simple question. Sit down for this one. If it were Candace Owens instead of Jasmine Crockett or somebody else, what would you have said?
Nothing.
Nothing.
If it was the black woman who ran for governor of Virginia and just lost to the woman Spanberger in Virginia, Earl Sears, I believe is her name, Winsome Earl Sears. If I was talking about her, would y'all have said anything? If I was talking about somebody like Sage Steele, our former colleague, at ESPN, who's now in the podcast space and doing her thing, would you have said anything? Trying to make this about gender and race. No, this is about politics, ideology. You expect me, as a black man, to stand firm supporting the Democratic Party.
Exactly.
That's what this is about.
Exactly.
That's what this is about. If I said the same thing about those conservative black women, y'all would not have said a word. So if it's about politics, say so. See, that's where the left gets slick. And this is somebody, you can't say anything to me because I vote for you anyway, because I'm looking at a policy by policy, and I understand the attention that needs to be brought to the desolate and the disenfranchised, to the poorest amongst us, and for us to do what we can to uplift them. That's how I live my life, trying to do it. And even though the Republicans might have some policies and their thought process might be free market capitalism, free land of opportunity, do that, whereas the Democrats might have given blacks more access to capital through some policies and what have you. The bottom line is, on far too many occasions, it's come across like they care more about that than the other side might. Whatever you may think, the fact of the matter is, this is about politics and ideology, and about the left trying to muscle and flex us into doing and thinking and spreading and disseminating what you want me to do. Bump that. I apologize. Fuck that. I'm not doing it. I do what I want to do. I think for me. I voted for Kamala Harris. I voted for Barack Obama twice. I voted for Bill Clinton. Don't come to me acting like, oh, I'm supposed to parrot your speech. You sitting there on the White House lawn dancing with Joe Biden, who was 80. Forgetting you're going to bring up Trump with the rent issue in the 70s, but we're going to conveniently ignore Joe Biden and the crime bill with the Senate in the 90s. And the disproportionate effect that had on black people and incarceration. Bill Clinton apologized for it. It happened in the 90s. He apologized for it in 2016, conveniently when Hillary Rodham Clinton was running. By the way, when the privatization of the prison system took fold, wasn't it some Democrats making money off of that because they invested in it? We didn't bring that up. I can't ask that. I can't bring that up. I can't be suspicious about stuff like that. Come on, y'all. Come on.
All righty. That was a mouthful right there. I want to start with you, Celeste. I want to open the floor with you today. You can go with it wherever you want to go. I do want to say this before you go. I want to say was it 2 weeks ago, maybe 3 weeks ago at this point, that we did a show discussing him and we were bigging him up. It was like, man, Stephen A's like showcasing like he has a spine. And then it wasn't even a full week cycle that he had, basically bent the knee, took all of it back. And it's like, you're asking for people to get behind you, but it's like, you're not standing on a square. You're not standing, firm in a belief system that people can get behind. No one really knows where you stand. What are your thoughts?
Well, first of all, I think that if you ever spent any time watching Hallmark movies or the Hallmark Channel or soap operas, you would find that not only Black women, but all women are beyond critique. So that's not something that's particular to Black women. That is something, a position that society has put all women in. However, in terms of Stephen A., I just want to come out and say I was not one who was overly supporting Stephen A., because Stephen A., like the clock, tends to only be right twice a day. And I think he's in a transition. He's forced into a transition because he, like many, are in a difficult spot. And the spot is this: the lane he used to operate in very successfully in is dying. And he's smart enough to know that. However, he doesn't have an audience any place but that lane. So he is trying to be right twice a day to court a new audience of people who are really moving the conversation forward. while still maintaining his old support. And it makes him often conflicted. So I expect to see more of this type of behavior. I expect to see him come out and say something, and we can all cheer, and we should, when he says something right. And I expect him to capitulate and crawl with his tails between his legs most of the time. And I think the truth of that is a secret that he's hoping doesn't get out. The fact of the matter is, he identifies as an independent, and he identifies himself as someone who's not beholden to either party. However, how you identify yourself is one part of the equation. To complete the equation, other people also have to identify you as that. And his audience has identified him as a liberal. And they are saying to him, not that we expect you, Stephen A., to toe the black line, we expect you to toe the liberal line. And so far, he's doing it.
Absolutely. Robert, get in there. You can go with it wherever you would like to go. What are your thoughts?
Okay. So, that's the thing, right? That's the thing with my mic is on. Yeah. Okay. Sorry. That's the thing about independence. I have an issue with people that are like, well, I'm a centrist independent. And, in 2009, he came out as an independent. And you can basically test the waters. Whatever he feels that is popular, he can join with that and then come back this way, right? That's why, he came out recently critiquing the Democratic Party and how they're losing. And, then one day he's supporting Trump and not supporting Trump, which, it sounds good, right? Because, we can all agree and disagree with many other people, but the issue with an independent, in my opinion, is that I kind of look at it like a let's say there's a burning building, right? And you got the people that are there standing looking at this building, right? You got some people that'll jump into the building to help somebody that needs help, right? And then you got other people that are just filming it. They're just filming it, just there. I don't want to get in there to help, because I don't believe that they should help, whatever. Then you got the other people that are, the just, just there, just to see what's going on. And that's how I see, conservatives. We're the ones that trying to get into the fire, first responders, trying to help, trying to figure out. The Democratic parties, well, it's not my business, whatever, they and the independence is like, I don't know. I have no opinion, whatever, I don't know where I feel. I don't know what I stand. That's how I kind of see it. But as far as the critiquing the women and the black women, I don't know, man. I think that just not like Salih said, it's all women right now in this era. You can't even say anything because, they can, if you body shame them, they can body shame us guys, right? Say, oh, you're short, you're, and if you say the other, like you're a little bit skinny or whatever, then it's like, whoa, no, but that's just, it's what I think. So.
Got you, Crystal. I want you to get in there. Candace put this quote out there. A double-minded man is unstable in all his ways. I love that. And that's what we see out of Stephen A. And Robert, I think you're absolutely right. He kind of, throwing his finger out there and kind of seeing which way the wind is blowing. And, he's kind of grifting one way to another to try to get a bag. And so far, I mean, it's been fairly successful. My issue with independents, all the independents that I've met, they've all blue. They all are former Democrats and they all vote blue no matter who. So even though they say they're Democrats, they are liberals at heart. In all actuality, very similar to what was the lady that we discussed about 2 weeks ago with the glasses, Teslin.
Teslin Figueroa.
Yes, same thing. Remember, she said the same. I'm an independent, but all her talking points was straight liberal. I mean, it was almost like she was reading off the liberal checklist,
But that's because contemporary times right now, it seems like the left is what the popularity is, right? According to Hollywood and all that, whatever is in the media. That's why they seem to kind of cater to the left. But my belief is right now we're seeing a switch. We're seeing a switch where the Republicans are starting to sound famous. That's why he's starting to kind of like move over a little bit. But then he's seeing like, oh, what happened? You know, seeing that the left still has a hold, and he's coming back. And it's hard to read those people because there was a rumor that he wanted to run for president in 2028, right?
There's no way that's happening. No way that's happening.
You know, but you know, he's testing the waters because again, he's just seeing what sticks, you know, and it's worked. I mean, look at Al Sharpton. He was one of the guys that got, you know, good with riding a wave, you know, and I don't know.
Crystal, what are your thoughts?
I agree with Candace because that's exactly how I feel. A double-minded man, definitely not stable. When you look at Ephesians 4:14, it says, "Then we will no longer be immature like children. We won't be tossed and blown about by every wind of new teaching. We will not be influenced when people try to trick us with lies so clever they sound like the truth." Stephen A. Smith lets people tell him anything, and he cowers every time, every single time, every like he. I'm trying not to be graphic, but he keeps getting his cojones chopped off and dropped somewhere every few seconds. It's like, what is going on? Are you a man or are you not a man? I don't understand who you are. Like you can't stand on business. You afraid to say something. And the thing is, you're absolutely right. And I think that's what irritates me so much about women. Yes, I'm going to say this. Women, it's like they will criticize, they will disrespect. They could say what they could do, whatever when it comes to a man. If a man just says, I disagree, oh, you're a misogynist. Nope. Listen, he does not respect women. Nope. He's a woman hater. And you're just like, because he corrected you? Did I miss? And then people actually cower to that. And I'm like, why are you cowering to this foolishness? The thing is, this is what you call manipulation. And the Bible warned about this in Isaiah 3:12. He says, childish leaders oppress my people and women rule over them. And that is what's happening. He says, my people, your leaders mislead you and they send you down the wrong road. And that is where we are living right now. Exactly what Isaiah 3:12 was saying, because women are leading. Women leading is, listen, I love women. I'm a woman. But women are a hot mess. We have sparkle creeds, men and women's bathrooms and sports, and all the foolishness. And it's from women leading, and that is the problem. So we need to take a seat, do exactly what God called us to do, and let men lead. And I feel like Stephen A. Smith is going to, because like you said, he's the lone wolf. I think the Lord is just going to let Stephen A. Smith hit rock bottom. And when he hits rock bottom, all he can do is look up at that point, because no one is going to take him. There's going to be zero respect unless he really, truly just bends the knees and never, ever, ever speaks out against the Democratic Party. Listen, he will end up on an island all alone. And lastly, just for someone in the comments, they kept saying Black women are heavily involved with Christianity. They're so heavily involved with Christianity. I just want people to understand, just like I said about the Similac lady, everybody that has a church, everyone that says that they are Christian, if they have no fruit, they're not Christian. I don't care if Black women show up in churches. Like I just told everybody in my live, I don't want to hear about these Negro Black spiritual leaders that can't even catch their breath when they're talking. I don't care about them people. That is not of God. So don't mix up the two. You need to see fruit. If you don't see fruit, they're not followers of Christ. That's it.
Rolando, I want you to get in there, brother, and you can go with it wherever you want to go. What are your thoughts on Stephen A?
Well, I mean, I don't really have much to say about Stephen A. For once, I agree with Crystal. Basically, he's just a coward, dude. Because he always folds. Anytime you press him just a little bit, he folds.
Yeah.
And people were trying to push this guy to run for president. President of what? He couldn't be president of the freaking neighborhood watch. You know, like, so it's just a joke. A lot of these guys, man, who are making this these ridiculous, paydays, 20 million, 25 million. These are people you don't look to make get advice on much. You might get a kernel of wisdom here and there, but for the most part, there's nothing there, man. Those people sold out for the money a long time ago.
I can dig it. I can dig it.
They just shells of people basically walking around, and trying to preach some type of morality when they have very little morality themselves. So I just don't really pay much attention to them. Even as a sportscaster, I just never really paid much attention to him. I'm more of a Shannon Sharp guy. I was never a Stephen A. Smith guy. I don't even find his sports stuff interesting. But black women in particular, do have a problem on getting criticized, which they really need to come to grips with, because a lot of times the criticism doesn't come from a place of trying to harm you or hurt your feelings or belittle you or make you feel less than. It's more of a place of love where we want you to get yourself together, don't get played by the system, don't fall into this feminism, just trying to just help you just avoid a lot of the traps. So, and guys like Stephen A, they claim they're independent, but these are really liberal men in disguise.
I don't even know if you can say disguise. I don't think he's in disguise. I don't think he's in costume. I mean, he's come out and let us know that he voted for Kamala, voted for Obama twice, voted for Hillary Clinton. He's come out and he's endorsed or at least voted for, every liberal candidate, up there in New York City. He's not in disguise.
But
He's out his own mouth has come out and said that, hey, I don't know how this works, but I think he says I am fiscally, I'm conservative, but socially he's liberal. He's come out and said that on a multitude of occasions. So I don't think he's wearing a disguise. I think he's, showing us exactly who he is. I just think that, he tends to get us somewhat excited. I think a lot of it is the fact that he has a platform, and every now and again, like Celeste said, there's, dead clocks twice. It's right, twice a day. And he will come out and say some factual things. And then next thing you know, he bends a knee and comes back. I want to get Dion in on the conversation. Dion, what are your thoughts, in reference to Stephen A saying, are black women above critique?
Well, I mean, nowadays, I guess that's true for most black women. They feel that way. And, it's coming from that place of, the fact that so many black women have just staunchly embraced this whole feminism thing. And that's where they are at this point. And, it's sad, but like Crystal mentioned out of the book of Isaiah chapter 3, that was basically the idea and the concept behind that verse is that what do I want to say? I'm losing my train of thought. I'm sorry. But basically is that, in biblical times when women were in power and women were leading, that was not something cute. That was a sign of judgment. So, and the reason it's judgment is because men in an environment like that can't be the men that God wants them to stand up and be. They have to sit down, they have to acquiesce, and they have to act like children, in the presence of women, whether it be black women or just women in general. And it's been so disgusting to see that happen, especially in these last 4 years or so, with everything that's gone on under Joe Biden and Kamala Harris. There's just been so much of that. And, I grew up in a family where, the men were men. There was not this, it's not this this whole mindset. Boy, I think about it all the time. Like if my dad was alive and my uncles, they would be outdone by the way things have changed and how the tables have turned. But I mean, this country is under judgment, whether people know it or not. It is not cute. Women being empowered. I'm saying that as a woman, but you know, and just in general, I mean, it's sad when you can't undergo any kind of criticism. And somebody like Jasmine Crockett, who has so much to say about so many people, and she's supposed to be untouched. Please, you know,
Well, I
that's
think
just ridiculous.
a lot of the issue is that, and I'm gonna showcase Jasmine Crockett here in a second. That's the next segment I want to get into, and I want to give Spaces an opportunity, and Josh, if they would like to add anything to it. If you guys have anything that you would like to add in reference to Stephen A, I want to give you guys an opportunity to do so. If not, we can keep it moving.
Yeah, I was on the fence of how I honestly truly felt about Stephen Smith. Let me phrase what I thought about Stephen A. Smith. And I never really known, like, he started off as a sports commentator, and being the fact that he was a sports commentator, I didn't know much about it because I don't follow sports at all. Like, my guys that I hang around with, they follow sports, and then they have something like an event for whatever's coming up, and then I'm just there like a fly on the wall. But I lost what little respect I had for him when he apologized to Jasmine Crockett. I couldn't, like, that is crazy. And it's not so much that it's not so much that he apologized. It's that he apologized for something that wasn't offensive. He didn't disrespect her how she looked. He didn't disrespect whatever accomplishments she may have. He didn't say anything like she's a low IQ individual, like Trump would say. He didn't say anything disrespectful. He just apologized and for the least offensive comment that I can imagine somebody saying. And they said, it's been said already in this conversation, the people, I don't know, I've been asking myself which is worse, a person that is blindly liberal or a person that is independent, because you don't know, you just, like Stephen A. Smith, don't know which way the wind is going to blow them in. Because I don't know, like, the Bible speaks about lukewarm people, right? So if I don't understand, I'm not saying that everybody should be conservative in their thought process and in their political beliefs. I do also say, however, how can you be liberal in your beliefs, like, and still have morals about yourself? Because I noticed with that, and with Stephen A. Smith, he said he voted for Kamala Harris, Obama twice, and Hillary Clinton. That's 20 years.
Yes.
I think he also went down the list of, I think, Al Gore as well. One of those times during the Bush time frame. I think he went down that list. As far as I know, the dude's only voted Democrat.
Right.
At a certain point, you start bleeding blue. So.
Hey, Brother Wise. Hey, Brother Wise, I just wanted to say, you said I was fresh tonight. Josh is over here. He's fresh tonight. This dude looked like he just left the NBA draft. Let me tell you, now that's fresh right there, because you about to get some money. You know what I mean? So before we go ahead and move on to the next segment, I just wanted to throw that out there. I know I'm fresh, but this dude right here is NBA fresh. That's a different type of fresh right there. Yeah, that's Lamborghini fresh.
Well, the compliments. Josh, did you want to add anything to Stephen A, or you want to keep it moving? You muted if you are talking. I can't hear you.
You sound far.
Real low.
You sound far away. Yeah.
Yeah, you
Volume.
gotta turn the mic up.
Let me see. Let me check you out here. Yep. There's a mic issue going on that side. While he's figuring that out.
Yeah.
Is that better?
Yeah, that's a lot better.
There you go.
All right, cool.
Yeah.
Let's go. This technology, boy. I swear I used to work at Apple. I'm gonna do something real quick. I'm gonna throw it off a little bit. We're all Christians, correct? Right? We all believe in God. Do we all have the grace to give Stephen A. Smith forgiveness? Like, do we have that in us? Because I feel like he's like a lot of guys that are kind of silent right now. He is super in between. You got to realize where he's coming from. He's a typical black man that's voted Democrat and been slapped in the face with the truth and has no idea to really respond to right now. That's how I'm taking it. And a lot of people are bringing up the fact that he has money and he's getting paid. But if I was in his shoes and I'm getting all this information, remember, he's also tapped into like everybody. Music and sports taps you into behind the scenes. I'm in the music industry. There's stuff I may know that everybody else may comment on. It's like, man, y'all just don't know the details. So now he's probably like texting people, trying to figure out the truth. And as he's going through his process of finding the truth, we're seeing that process. Does that make sense to y'all?
Mm-hmm.
So with the whole woman part, we all know, especially black men, because we saw Kevin Samuels get blasted on internet for speaking the truth and it wasn't the fact just because what he was saying, it was how he was saying it. But also, if you was to take what he was saying about the truth of our community, if you was to read it on paper, he was telling the truth. I understand that we cannot give criticism to certain people because if they accept the criticism, they now have to accept the fact that they're wrong. And a lot of people don't know how to admit that they're wrong. Does that make sense? So it's better for me to put the blame back on you and personally attack you instead of me just sitting back and saying, you know what, I'm actually wrong. Like that's how this is my perspective from the outside looking in. I don't like space. I'm 6'5". I did not play sports. I don't know anything about sports. All I knew about was Stephen A. Smith's hairline, and he was loud. That's all I know about Stephen A. Smith. That's
pretty much all you need to know.
Well, yeah, that's pretty much. But I've been watching him, and I've been, because he's loud, and I pay attention to him. I watch his show often. There are times where I disagree. There's times that I do agree. I've been seeing people make comments about Stephen A. Smith about he doesn't criticize Trump and he doesn't criticize white people. I'm like, if you actually watch his show, he criticizes everybody. Everybody gets to smoke. I'm just being honest with you. I'm just sitting back watching his response. Yeah, he apologized. He also talks about how he has a lot of black women that's close to him in his life. We don't know what's going on when he turns off them cameras. His mom, his aunties, his sisters could be getting up in his tail, and he's more responsible to them than he is what we think he should be. So he has a responsibility on, his stream and also his family. So he's probably got that pressure. Like, I know I'm gonna look like an a-hole, but my auntie just chewed me out. My cousin just chewed me out. Mom just chewed me out. Let me just go ahead and do this because they might be right. We don't know. I'm giving him grace. I might be tore up in the comments for this, but I'm going to give him grace because I don't understand what he's going through. He may be rich, but he's still allowed to have an opinion. And I'm just going to watch because a lot of stuff I wouldn't know unless I was watching his show. And he brings on all these different people that a lot of the Democrats don't talk to. I give him the space for that. Like, man, he talking to all kinds of people. And he said, Jasmine Crockett, if you want to come on the show, and she has not been on there. But, that's my take on Stephen A. And look like Wise about to say something.
No, I don't think I was saying. I was just shaking my head. Like, I don't think she will go. She's not going anywhere that's not friendly to her.
That's like the Kamala Harris effect. I think.
Yeah, exactly. He tried to get her on the show too back in before the election. She wouldn't go anywhere that wasn't friendly. He offered her an opportunity to go on and speak with him. She wouldn't do it. Yeah, but I understand where you're coming from. And I think my issue with Stephen A. Smith, it's not that he speaks to both sides. It's that he apologizes. If you're going to be the guy that's right down the middle saying, hey, I'm here to call out everything that's going on both sides. I've watched Stephen A. Smith, and I've watched his show. I've heard him call out people on the right. I've heard him call out people on the left. My issue with it is that the people on the right don't get butthurt about the fact that he called them out and he doesn't have to capitulate and apologize. People on the left do get butthurt when he calls them out and instead of saying, no, I said what I said, he capitulates and apologizes. That's the problem. I could care less that he's an independent. Be an independent. I'm good with that. Talk to both sides. Talk about both sides. But don't apologize when deep down inside you're not wrong. That's the issue right there. That's the big issue for me.
And you know what I think about him, and I'll say this real super quick. What I think about him is I give him just a little bit of grace. To your point, Josh, I give him just a little bit of grace in the fact that what he spouses, for the most part, that we know him to say, that's what's lining his pockets. So I understand, like, he works for ESPN, which is owned by Disney. So, and now when I think about Disney, I think about when I went to watch the recent Little Mermaid movie, aka DEI Mermaid. I don't know if anybody else seen it, but that was a full-on DEI campaign, right? So, and then when you factor that in, you factor in 24 years of his life has been dedicated to Democratic presidential voting, and you work for Disney. I honestly, to be honest, I think Stephen A. Smith is conservative. I think he's conservative, but he has to align with what's lining his pockets. That's what I think.
Well, I mean, he did just sign a guaranteed contract. So, I mean, at this point, I mean, unless he does something crazy, I mean, if they want to take it back, they can always figure a way to take it back. But let's keep it moving. A couple super chats I want to read and a chat I want to read. Shout out to LJ. Said she said I criticized her and now she might be off the market. See what happens when a good critique goes a long ways, man. I'm telling you, man. LJ might be off the market right now. Okay, look at that. We matchmaking right now already.
Disappointed. You know,
Yes.
I'm highly disappointed.
Somehow the other, you forgot to do your work when it comes to me, but it's okay.
Hey, all I can do is give advice. You know what I'm saying? All I can do is give advice. You the one got to put yourself out there for a man. You got to make yourself available. That's not. Hey, I ain't got nothing to do with me now. You know, all my guys, they're all they're accounted for. They're taken.
He right there.
Remember, women don't want to be too available. They never want to be too available.
Shout out to the Energizer Bunny coming through with the $5 super chat. Says, I pray for Stephen A. Smith to come to Christ and to the conservative side. Okay. And thank you, Energizer Bunny, for the $5 super chat. Says, he who is without sin cast the first stone. Absolutely. I agree with that. Thank you very much. I appreciate you. Thank you very much. And shout out to LJ. Shout out to LJ. Listening. Okay. I like it. Now, once you get engaged, we got to get, pictures, all that kind of good jazz, all that kind of stuff. We'll get you highlighted right here on the show. Get you highlighted. All right, let's keep it moving. I don't know if you guys had a chance to see this, but I want to play this clip for you guys. It's pretty ridiculous. Radio show host Stephanie Miller kisses the feet of Democratic Representative Jasmine Crockett. I got to ask this question, man. White liberals, what's wrong with y'all, man? Seriously. What is wrong with y'all? Seriously, this is ridiculous. Yeah, pretty ridiculous. Let me share it with you guys.
That I just kissed your sneakers. This is true. She's on camera saying she'll do the radio. I am. We're doing it. Future senator of the great state of Texas. I'm gonna miss Ted Cruz so much. He's so likable. Oh my God.
Our electorate behind us, all parts of our electorate. We need the media, and we rarely have the media. So how this story gets told is going to be a really important piece right now. They're going to have to go up against all of Trump's media apparatus, right? Social media owned by his cronies, legacy media that always has a little bit of a skew bias towards both sidesism. Both sidesism always benefits Republicans. So if by 2 years, the story isn't still Democrats cave, Schumer cave, both on the one big beautiful bill and caved on a 40-day shutdown, then that's going to be a really hard thing to navigate.
Well, I got to ask you, because your name has been floated all over Washington, D.C., and I'm sure all over Texas as a potential U.S. Senate candidate. What can you tell us?
Yeah, I am considering it, is what I can tell you. I think that we're living in unprecedented times, and I think an unprecedented candidacy is what we need to do in Texas if we're going to do something different. And so I think when you're talking about how expensive these races are, starting with someone who is known and has a brand that doesn't take from anybody, I think being a fighter for the people is what people are looking for.
That is where we are at in politics, guys. Why is she going to run? Because she's known and she has a brand. Does she have any of the right ideas? Has she accomplished anything in her life, much like Zamboni? Has he ever done anything other than run and win? Can he accomplish anything? But he's got a brand, and it's a slick brand, and she's got a, I'm telling you guys, I'm going to be for Florida secession. Like, there's just no way around it at this point. But if you want to see like just like the level of patheticness around the Democrats, you know, I'm always looking for the I always keep saying I'm looking for the lefties online, like who are the pundits online, not just the generic CNN people. There's this woman, Stephanie Miller. She's been a lefty progressive radio host for decades. I think I did her show way back when, like when I was a lefty, probably over 10 years ago. This picture came out of her. She's kissing Jasmine Crockett's feet.
Oh my God.
But I'm told we're in a cult. We're the ones in a cult. Here's Trump on Crockett.
This Crockett, this is a very low IQ person. And I look at somebody that comes from Somalia where they don't have anything. They don't have police, they don't have military, they don't have anything. All they have is crime. And she comes in and tells us how to run our country. The Constitution says this, the Constitution, the whole thing is crazy.
All right, so it was a little bit of a strange segue that he did there. He's talking about.
I don't think I've ever seen anything like that before. We'll start with you, Spaces. I'll give you the floor, kick this thing off. Any of the clips you can discuss, but what's wrong with these white liberals for real? Kissing feet? That's what we doing now? Really?
You know, when I see Jasmine, especially with that particular the clip when she started speaking on by herself when they like zoomed in on her. Maybe I'm just overanalyzing, but the way her eyes are, it looks like she's I don't it looks like she's kind of out of it. It looks like she's like staring into space. I don't know how to phrase it, but I call her the crock pot to be sarcastic. When I listen to her speak, period, it's like I think about Stephen A. Smith and when he said, like, you don't go to work, your whole job is predicated on just being what's the word? When you're just being specifically in opposition to what it is that's being said. Like, you're not putting any
confrontational.
But yeah, you're not putting any particular legislation forward. You're not trying to say, all right, we're going to take this L and then move on to this. We're going to figure out how we can make these programs work. You're not doing anything. But if Quincy says she looks hot, yes, she does. But I just don't see her. I don't see what she really does or what she's done outside of her, I guess, her education and her not certificates, her diplomas. I guess maybe she has some sort of accomplishments outside of some low key or local accomplishments. But I don't understand why this person is, or maybe she was just, some new energy for the Democratic Party. But I just don't see why she's relevant, why she's even in conversation. She's not trying to do anything to push anything forward at all. She just goes and says Republicans are wrong, Trump is wrong, and all this stuff. And she never, like Mr. Wise said, she never has an actual debate with anybody. I've seen Byron Donald call her out. I invited you to a debate at least 2 or 3 times.
She wants no smoke with Byron Donalds. Are you kidding me? She wants no smoke with that brother.
Yep.
What? And I've noticed when she speaks, like you said, Mr. Wise, she only speaks in situations where she can just kind of like Dr. Umar, where she can just blabber until she gets tired of talking, or she has the possibility of controlling the conversation.
Mm-hmm.
I just don't see.
Yeah. The word you were looking for, Quincy threw it out there: contrarian. She is a contrarian to the Republican Party and to President Trump. Dion, I want to give you the next word on this. When what's the lady's name? Representative Lee jumped out there and said that Trump and the Republicans own the media, which is, goodness gracious, it makes me wonder, like, what are they watching? When they can come out and say something like this. What are your thoughts?
At first, I'd have to say that I hate Trump even gives her so much airspace, because she is so not worth it. You know, and I mean, it's wow. I think something has entered in. I think that a lot of people in the Democrat Party, a lot of these more vocal, the younger ones, they have entered into some kind of covenant or something to the demonic world. I mean, because the level of lunacy is just it's stunning. It really is. I don't know how anybody could think that Trump has control over the media. I mean, all the media does is prop up the Democrat Party. So I don't even know what in the world she was talking about. But yeah, as far as Jasmine Crockett, for Trump to keep calling her low IQ, she's not as dumb as she pretends to be, but she's part of a cult. So I mean,
No, I think she's playing I think she's a lot more intelligent than she lets off. I
Yeah.
think she's playing a game. I think
She
she's
is.
been. Celeste disagrees. I want to get Celeste in on this, but I think that she's been paid to act a certain way. Now, I'm not saying that she's
Agreed.
some super high IQ individual either. I just think
Right.
she's a politician that's been bought and paid for to come across a certain way. But Celeste may disagree. What are your thoughts, Celeste?
Yeah, I definitely think she is as dumb as she
Okay.
as she appears. And part of the reason I think that is because if you know if I know what information you have, then if I know the input, then I can predict the outcome. And so if you look at the trajectory of how she was educated, then you can predict pretty much what she knows, because the likelihood is she does not know anything beyond her education. And Jasmine Crockett acts the way she does, and she governs the way she does with not putting forth any legislation or any particular policy initiatives, and is allowed to do that because her constituency, which is largely Black women, do not require that from her. They are satisfied with what she gives them, because what they want is representation. They want a Black face in a white space, and they want that Black space in the Black face in the white space to be contrarian and to be anti-Republican and anti-Trump. But I mean, that's what they are saying publicly, but secretly it's also anti-white. And that's what she does for them. And they don't require anything else, and they won't require anything else. And if you know, they gerrymandered her seat so that she no longer has that. She's being forced to run for Senate. But if she runs for anything else, and it will be those people who will line up for her and will continue to line up for her. And even if she can't get a seat, they'll find some other way to support her, because she has done for them what they want. They want her to be a Black face in a white space where she is vocally angry. And I think that they use Trump as Republicans as a way to lash out against white people.
It's a good take.
And
Josh, I want to.
One last thing. I think that's why that woman's kissing her sneakers.
That's crazy.
That activity of public self-flagellation, which looked absolutely crazy.
It really
As my
does.
guy Jay Witt would say, that's crazy work. Crazy work. Seriously.
The first time I've seen that happen, real quick, I'm sorry, a white person getting down on the ground and kissing a Black person is with the Black Israelite.
I know. I'm sorry.
Y'all crazy. LJ coming through with the jokes. Joshua about to slide Jasmine some grace and understanding. Get in there, Josh.
I'm not. Oh no, I'm not. I cannot stand Jasmine Crockett, man. She's a preacher kid. Like, she's a PK. She acts like a PK. Like, she acts like she is all that. Y'all can't tell me nothing. I'm gonna do whatever I'm gonna do. If somebody put in the chat, like, where's her accent? Well, it's on the stage where she left it last time. So I mean, it makes sense for somebody to kiss her feet, because that shows that they need some type of acceptance, and they ain't getting it from the real ones. If for you to kiss anybody's feet, you're gonna choose her feet. Like, for real, like
Out
anybody's
of all
feet.
feet.
I'd rather her wash this woman's feet, like the Bible says, instead of. But I to be honest, I don't really have too much nice things to say about Jasmine, so I gotta keep my mouth shut. Like she makes black women look bad, in my opinion.
Yeah.
She really makes black women who work hard and who really want things to be the right way. She makes those black women look horrible. And then she got all that weave in her head and all that makeup on her face. Like she's trying to find this new identity and present a certain thing. It's like before I even knew who she was, I would see her on TV. I'm like, she looks uncomfortable. That big helmet of a head, hair on her head, and then she had all these big flowers and stuff all around her neck. I'm like, dude, she dresses like she's going to convocation for the Apostolic Church. Like, she's doing too much. Like, she's doing way too much. And for somebody to be a child of a pastor, though, like Space said about everything that you are voting for and standing for is liberal, that does not line up to the word of God. So are you the fruit, as Crystal would say? There's no fruit in what this chick is doing. All I see her doing is being mad, saying that she hates Trump and cussing all over the place. And between her and Roland Martin, I'll be wanting to spit at my phone, bro. Like they both piss me off.
Yeah.
I ain't gonna lie. They both be taking me off. Let me get off because I already ain't got nothing good to say about her.
Rolando.
I cannot stand Jasmine. She just fake to me. And my mom passed 5 years ago. And I just seen strong black women who kept it real my whole entire life. Like all of the black women in my family, they are just like straight up and down. They're not super liberal. It's great morals. Stand on your word, stand on God's word, and live your life the way you're supposed to. All that fake stuff, and so it's just not attractive to me. It's not attractive to me whatsoever. I think that's kind of like Rolando speed. Like he likes that type. Oh, my bad. I thought I muted my phone. Moving on.
Rolando, what are your thoughts on Jasmine Crash Out?
Josh ain't never gonna learn his lesson. All right. Well, stop messing with me, Josh, because you know I get on you.
Even though you started, go ahead.
Actually, I actually look up to liberal white women, to be honest, because they are really, really smart. They found a way, all right, to basically brainwash black women, okay, with the feminism and you know, all that, all right? So they turn around and they do that. And this is like every time, I told you, Wise, every time there's an issue that white women want to basically push, they run over and they play the oppression card with black women, okay? They try to do that with Latino women, but it didn't work, you know, because they pulled up to the door and the Latin woman came to the door and was like, ¿qué? And that was just pretty much it. We ain't even speaking the same language. So they couldn't get our women, you know, because there was a little barrier there. Thank God, you know. But they got black women and they got them hook, line, and sinker. All right. And this is what you're seeing. The Jasmine Crockett's and that kind of stuff all over the place. Pushing this liberal agenda that comes straight from white women. Okay? It's all a scam. For example, DEI. And they say, oh, DEI is great. It's going to benefit all these black and brown people and it's going to be great. But yeah, DEI was what? 86% white women?
4% black people.
Yeah. I saw those numbers and I was like, wow, look who's benefiting. Not surprising, liberal white women. They are a plague on this country. You know, because they're just out of line. They're so progressive that everything should be free. Borders should be open. You should be able to come and go as you please. The economy don't matter. Housing don't matter. You know, emergency rooms filled up. None of that matters. And then they get people like Jasmine Crockett to go into the black and brown communities and push their agenda. You know, so this is what we got right now. So when you see people like this, you just gotta dismiss them. Al Sharpton have been doing this for years. She's just another version of him.
Facts.
All these race grifters that come and go, pushing the same woke crap. The leaders of the past, the Huey Newtons, the Malcolm X, the MLKs, Marcus Garvey, all these guys. There's nothing like that ever, from what I see, ever coming back anytime soon. We're just stuck with all these wannabes and grifters and, you know, Dr. Umars, and behind all of them, there's white liberals, you know, financially backing all this.
Oh,
So,
yeah.
yeah.
Rolando, you're right. But that's been the thing for a long time, right? You can't find a organization that's quote unquote supposed to be for black folks or people of color that don't have some white liberals behind it, you know, and their money involved. You really can't. Crystal, what are your thoughts?
Jasmine Crockett is a gutter bunny plant that has been placed in politics to placate to society's stereotypes, and white guilt exercises on her pride, and that is why that lady was kissing her feet. The government shutdown, we already know, was the Democrats' fault, so I don't even know why.
Yep.
But again, people don't do no research, so they listen to her foolishness. Texas better wake up, because she's talking about running for senator. If you want Texas to look like Palestine, y'all keep it up. But Republicans have never does not own media, so I don't know what they're talking about. That one lady just needs to sit down and be quiet. And again, when you understand that Jasmine Crockett works with that charlatan Frederick D. Haynes that calls himself a pastor, that all he talks about is social activism and not the gospel, we don't even need to entertain that. I love Josh, but there'll be no grace here, because the Lord said to call out the foolishness, and I'm calling out all of the foolishness. And she gets the gutter bunny stamp of approval, because she definitely is a gutter bunny. And lastly, let me see how many, because I had to look it up. She has put out a total of 400. She's co-sponsored over 400 bills. Was it 4? No, 35 bills. I'm sorry, 35 bills. And none of them have passed. And that is to date of November 12th, 2025. So exactly what is your purpose? Because you can't even get a chance to say, at least she works with people and she gets stuff passed for the community. You can't even get that. So what is the point of having her there? She's a waste of time, and she's just there, honestly, to continue to push that stereotype about Black women. So let her retire today.
The lone Texan that we have here on the panel, and I ask that you don't spend too long, you know, on this topic though. Does Jasmine Crockett, will she get your vote as a senator in the state of Texas?
No, not at all. Nope. But let me just say this, and I know this is gonna sound mean. It's not, but it's just a joke. But every time I see her, she reminds me, if anybody watches or has ever watched the Boondocks, she reminds me of Uncle Ruckus, just the girl version.
Oh,
but yeah, she's definitely a DEI. Jasmine Crockett getting her feet kissed by a white woman, like, what are we doing? This isn't that is not leadership. That is straight up weird, man. You got a city.
Can I ask you guys a question real fast? Can I ask you guys a question? If this picture is different, let's say, for instance, I don't know, let's say it's MGT. Could she have a Black woman kissing her feet and everybody applaud this and big it up and all this on X? Could that happen? Could we have, regardless of where she goes, could that happen?
Not at all.
Never, man. This would be probably one of the most like top 5 viral moments of 2025.
Yeah, I think so.
They'd have KKK memes up in less than 60 minutes.
For real.
Maybe they should read Exodus 25, where the Lord said, "Do not bow down to anybody." So
Yeah.
You're bowing down, and you're kissing her feet. You're worshiping this woman. Again.
Jasmine said, "Nope, it'll be right. It'll be all right."
Yeah, Cities would be burning, man. I'm telling you.
Matter of fact, even better than that, Mr. Wise. Imagine if it was Jasmine Crockett specifically kissing the feet of any white woman.
Yeah, that would go
and-
crazy.
This is super quick point. This reminded me of, and I had to Google it, YouTube it real quick. Do you guys remember when Bishop Eddie Long got lifted up in the chariot and carried around the crowd, around the church?
I think so.
That's what this reminded me of. But I'm muting my mic.
Can I say something real quick?
Go for it.
This the teacher part of me. There are young black women that see this and think it's okay. That's the problem I have.
Yep.
This is the example that's being set for the younger black women and men, because they're going to allow that to happen around them. It's giving it like, oh, this is okay for this to happen. And if nobody checks that, then they're going to think this is what's supposed to happen to me, which is that's what's bothering me. It's like, it's not the people that's just allowing it to happen that's our age. It's the young girls that's in college or in high school, or whatever, and they seeing this like, oh, that's what white women supposed to be when I'm gonna be up here on TV and wear my weave and makeup, and these white women gonna kiss my feet, and I can do and say whatever I want to do. And that's not a good example. That's not a godly example, right?
No, it's not. It's not in either direction. It's not. It just, in my opinion, man, it was a cringe moment. In my opinion,
it's a little bit of a reflection of her district in Texas. You know, it's really up to them to stand up to this, and next time she comes up, to not vote that stuff in. You know, I can't do anything from Orlando, Florida. She ain't in my district. But if she was in my district, she'd definitely get a thumbs down.
She doesn't even live in her district.
Well,
Yeah,
right,
so,
exactly.
I
Yeah,
mean-
that's straight up. No, she doesn't even
mean,
live. The
in
gerrymandering
Texas, you
is
gotta vote
something
her
that.
out.
Well, see, that's what I'm saying. The gerrymandering is real. Like, they've been doing this from underneath us, and we're not even aware, because a lot of the times we don't pay attention to, when it comes to vote for propositions and stuff like that. We don't pay attention to that, and that's how these Democrats have been doing this gerrymandering from underneath us and not even paying attention. We just pay attention to the, presidential elections, the midterm elections, but never the other ones,
I don't even think people pay attention to the midterms. Historically, people hadn't really paid much attention to the midterms, and people obviously don't pay much attention to the local elections. They typically have very low turnout. I mean, we just saw it last week. We discussed it on Friday, but there's 10 million people that live in New York City, but only 2 million people came out to vote in an election that, it's a pretty pivotal election. And I just don't think people care that much. And I think a lot of folks are focused on, kitchen table issues, how they're going to pay their bills from one day to the next. And they just don't have a lot of time to, pay attention to the local elections.
Wise, can I just say, if y'all are there, y'all go look in Texas, in District 30, go check out my boy, Sheldon Daniels. That's what y'all need to go check. Check him
Check
out.
out Sheldon Daniels. I interviewed him. He was on the channel. Man, I guess at this point, man, it was a while back, maybe 6 or 7 months ago. But yeah, good dude. Good dude. All right, I want to keep it moving, but before I do so, a couple of super chats are actually, we have the coolest dude joining the ARP family. Thank you very much for joining the ARP family. Thank you very much. I appreciate you. Shout out to the Energizer Bunny 007 with the $5 super chat. Says these Dems say the same things because they serve the same master, and it's not the Lord Jesus. Thank you very much for that. I would agree with you there. Yeah. All right. We're going to keep it moving. We're going to lighten it up just a smidget. I know we, kind of get into a little bit of political conversations, but I want to keep it moving here. And I want to shift gears just a bit. And I want to dive into this intriguing clip right here. I don't know if you guys had a chance to see it, but we talked about it maybe about a week ago, maybe 2 weeks ago. But I'll say it again right here. If a woman is truly into you, she'll overlook a laundry list of flaws. A laundry list of flaws. I mean, we're talking men with multiple baby mamas, maybe a stint behind bars. Heck, at this point, they're marrying dudes that are in prison. It's pretty crazy. They'll even deal with a dude that's a professional couch surfer or, affectionately known as a hobosexual. They'll deal with those types of guys. The question that is on everyone's mind is, why are women passing over dependable good guys, for these alluring but obvious red flags? I got a couple clips to share with you. One of them, I believe, is a skit, but I still think it's funny because I still think it holds true. Another one is, this little clip of these people out on a date. I want to share this with you guys, and then we'll get into it.